Today we'll be discussing the tournament, the Welcome to Our Day tournament. It was just going to be like the introductory tournament. We weren't going to have it in November, December because the games had just come out and we didn't want people rushing or getting frantic about finishing their teams off. This is the announcement I did. Essentially, you have to support either Sprigatito, Quacoco or Quaxley. They'll be a standing member and you have to choose another 5 for your team. You must either be Meowscrader, Skeledirge or Quaxquavel. The other 5 will be of your choice of the newly introduced Gen 9 Pokemon. Battles will be 6v6 singles. No duplicate Pokemon, no duplicate items. Registrations are still live up until Friday, I believe. Friday because we've got to get the tournament teams in, we've got to lock in the trainer cards, and the tournament will start on the 7th of January, so this Saturday. Terra Pokemon are allowed, so you can tear outside your Pokemon. They'll always set to level 50. Any egg moves that you have, egg moves actually gotten very easy to do now. If you need any support, obviously that'll be provided, but essentially it's just all to do with the picnic. So we have 14 participants at the moment. These are their Discord icons. So the grand total is 14 that are participating. Registrations are still open now until Friday, so if you want to take part, message ASAP. This is what Mark kind of went over, saying introducing Meowscrader, Grass Dark type, with Protein, it's really good. A suggestion of 252 attack, 252 speed, 4 HP. The moveset, Flower Check, U-turn, Set Punch, and either a Fairy move or a fighting move. You can either use it to get out there quick for a turn, you can use it to do really powerful stab damage, but even if it's overgrow, if you get into good enough HP, then Flower Trick will do just as good. Skeledirge, he's saying that you can either do a Fighting Terror or a Grass Terror, with Unaware as an ability. And Unaware is really good because say the opponent uses Swords Dance, he'll just ignore it and he won't take damage. Paul is saying to use Torch Song, Terra Blast, Terra Fighting or Terra Grass, Shadow Ball or Solar Beam, and then Protect or Fire Spin, just to take the hits. And Jake, another one of our admin, he is saying Max IV's out in Jolly Nature, 252 speed, 252 attack, Aqua Step, Close Combat, Acrobatics and Terra Blast. We go over to Meowscrader. On its own, it's looking quite bad. Times 2 to Fire, Ice, Fighting, Poison, Flying, Fairy, and times 4 to Buck. That's not looking good on the defense side at all. If you can use Protein, which obviously you change to that pure type move, and you use said move, you would change your type to get these weaknesses, which is very good if you're looking to throw the opponent off. Obviously, its signature move, Flower Trick, it allows you to get in a critical hit every single time. So whether they've used Iron Defense or whether they've just set up screens, maybe they've got Reflect up, then a critical hit will just bypass that. U-turn, another really powerful move. If you have Stab with Protean, it can just get you out of there. So if you've got an undesirable matchup and you just want to get a hit and then switch out, then that would work. Knock Off and Night Slash and the other dark type move, Sucker Punch, that Mark was mentioning. Either one would do. Again, play rough here, so a physical fairy move if you wanted to use a fairy type move to get rid of the fighting types that would otherwise threaten Meowscrader. But you could, if you want to be really crazy, use Copycat, so you copy the opponent's move and then hit them with an attack. You have Trick, so if you have a Choice Scarf and you want to do it that way, rather than attacking, you trick them with a Choice Scarf, that would be really nice. Acrobatics, again, Brick Break's good if you want to get rid of their screens. Thunder Punch if you wanted a Stab Electric move, Protean, that'd get rid of the flying types that would threaten it. Massive Attack, 110, so that's looking really good. And then Massive Speed, 123. If you're all about speed and hitting first, there's a lot of ways to win tournaments with it. You'd want to just have a really good speed Pokemon. This would be the best option for you. Going over to Skeledirge now. Fire Ghost on the surface isn't great defensively, I'd say. It's got Water, Ground, Rock, Ghost and Dark weaknesses. That's 5 weaknesses. Unaware is the one I'd be going for because you ignore their stat modification. So if they've increased their attack, you'll ignore it. If they increase their defense, you'll ignore it. Torch Song, which is a signature move, which increases special attack. Snarl is niche, where it will lower the opponent's special attack. So if you wanted to set yourself up to be a bit more specially prepared, then Snarl is always a good option. Will-O-Wisp, I'd recommend Will-O-Wisp because it affects Burn, and for those that don't know, Burn will half the opponent's attack damage. You also have Shadow Ball, which is another stab move, has a chance to lower their special defense. The other option is to get rid of Shadow Ball and just have Will-O-Wisp with Hex, because you know Hex does less damage. If they're burned, then it will do double damage. So Fire Blast is obviously going to be doing a a lot more damage, and it has a chance to burn. And Overheat does a very nice 130 power. The unfortunate thing is it's got 90 accuracy and it lowers the special attack by 2. Yawn, so if you wanted to, kind of not guarantee, but if you wanted to put them in a situation where they feel threatened to switch, that'll allow you to get an extra move in, then Yawn's always good. Sing's good if you want to put them straight to sleep, but again, 55% accuracy isn't looking great. You could also use Curse, so if you wanted to curse yourself as a ghost type, then obviously you'd be doing half damage to you, which you could then recover and slack off, and you'd also do chip damage to your opponent, which is nice. If you translate into something other than ghost, you'll just increase your attack and defense, which if you were to run an attacker, it'd be more for defense really, but if you were to run an attacker, it'd be good. But then again, you've got to commit to the terastallization, and then you've got to commit to physical attacks. Fire Spin, which I think was mentioned on Facebook from Paul, it traps them in. So if you want to trap them in and they can't switch out, then Fire Spin is good. You could pair that with Yawn maybe, so then they're guaranteed to fall asleep. Earth Power, so 90 power with the chance to lower special defense. If you want to get some good coverage, I'd always recommend Earth Power because it would hit the rock types that you're weak to, it would hit electric types, which might be threatening. So here we go, the water fighting type, which again, defensively I think it's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, so it's got 5 weaknesses, which defensively is not looking nice. But on the offense, water and fighting is really good anyway. Fighting hits 5, super effective, and water just helps out with the ground types and the fire types. And again, before we skip over it, Moxie as a hidden ability allows you to raise this Pokemon's attack by 1 stage if you knock out your opponent. Aqua Step, boost speeds, 80 power, stab move. You can't really go wrong with that. There is Aqua Jet, so if you're worried about your opponent using something like Sucker Punch, or if you're worried about them using something that's going to outspeed you, or something that's going to kind of screw you over a bit, that just always guarantees that you'll go first. Close Combat and Wave Crash. These two are just for all out attack. So 120, 120, that will lower your defenses, meaning you basically get one shot. And Wave Crash does recoil damage to yourself. But these two are very, very powerful, meaning that you'll more or less likely get the straight knockout if you want to go that route. It has got Roost, so if you want to build a more bulky one, you could possibly, if you give it maybe max HP or max defenses and stuff. If you've got something else in the back that has Will-O-Wisp, you could just do max special defense, max HP, then just Roost away. Rapid Spin's always nice because these will be 6v6, and for Pokemon to get rid of anything like Stealth Rock or Toxic Spikes will be very handy on there. Plus it increases speed, so not only have you got Aqua Step to increase speed, if you wanted to have Rapid Spin, you increase your speeds, get rid of all the traps that are laid out. The only issue is it's just 50 power and not stab. So if you're worried about your speed, instead of increasing your own speed, you could lower the opponent's speed with Blow Sweep. U-turn, similar to Masquerader, just won't have to stab from Protean, and it just guarantee a nice strong hit that will get you out of there. Ice Spinner, the new move introduced to Gen 9, is an 80 power ice move with 100% accuracy, so already that's looking like probably one of the best ice attacking moves, and it destroys terrain. There is Brave Bird as well, so instead of relying on acrobatics, you could just go for a 120 power flying move. The only issue is it will just harm you. In terms of terastallizing, I'd say Terastal Grass because you get extra boost on your Flower Trick, which is always good, especially with a critical hit chance. You'd lose your Dark typing, which means that you'd lose that times 4, and you'd lose your Fairy weakness, you'd lose your Fighting weakness. If you wanted a more defensive option, so if you wanted to maybe keep Masquerader a bit more, maybe you built it a bit more defensively, I'd say Fairy, because if you terastallize into Fairy type, you get extra stab on your Play Rough, plus with Protean. You'd lose your times for weakness to bug straight away to 0.5, and you only be weak to Steel and Poison, which is over here, which is always nice. Scarlet Dirge, Terastallize. Again, offensively, I'd always opt for. You can either do either or for this. If you want to get powerful Torch Songs, then Terastal Fire, get rid of your Ghost weaknesses. If you wanted to get powerful Hexes or powerful Shadow Balls, I'd Terastallize into Ghost. Grass as well, I've seen a lot of play with Terra Grass because it just allows you to get in extra damage onto the water types that threaten you, rock on the ground, which threaten it. A good Terastal option for this would probably be Water, because you'd get more powerful Aqua Steps in, you'd get powerful Aqua Jets in if you want to go to that priority group. Maybe Grounds? Just Terastal into Ground type. you don't get hit by electric at all, and you'll be able to deal super effective damage to them electric types, as well as rock types, as well as poison types. Items, you could go for a choice band if you wanted to really make use of that physical type. You could go a choice scarf, because I said again with trick. I put that in. Trick's there, which swaps the held item. So if you feel like you're going up against the opponent's Skeledirge who keeps using slack off or yawn or whatever, just trick them. Give them your choice scarf, which increases speed, so you're guaranteed to get that off. And they'll be stuck in that move until they switch out. Offensive hits, so we'll go to physical, then we'll go to power. Other options, you have Play Rough there, you've got, not Seed Bumps, it's got Flower Trick. You've got U-Turn, you've got Sucker Punch, you've got Thunder Punch if you really want electric to move, or Brick Bait. We did see Low Sweep here. Knock Off I'd recommend again. You might not even need a choice scarf, it's going to be the second fastest. You could just give it a choice band maybe, or just give it Life Orb. If you didn't want to be locked into a move, I'd say Life Orb is perfectly respectable for this. Give it 1.3 power, and yeah, Flower Trick, Play Rough, Dark Move, Knock Off. Could have Sucker Punch, could have Night Slash, but I'd personally say Knock Off. And in terms of EVs, you could go max attack, max speed. That'd probably be the optimal play, thinking about it. Like Mark said, you could even go for the adamant option, so 178. Well, these will be set to level 50, by the way. I'll put these on level 50. So yeah, Jolly or adamant, either or. Very nice speed, very nice attack. Maybe a bit in HP, like Mark said. But again, with this HP and these defences, you're looking at a 1 or 2 shot. If you wanted something a bit more survive-worthy, you can go with the Focus Sash. So if you haven't got anything else in your team that will get 1 or 2 shot, then I'd suggest this, because you can just guarantee yourself having 2 attacks. So you can use 2 Cloud Tricks, 2 Play Roughs, or 2 Knock-Offs. When one fits your kind of build. Oh, and the Terror type, think about it. Grass gives you double damage on Flower Trick. If you wanted something a bit more defensive, Fairy because of Play Rough, getting that stab on Play Rough. And if you get hit with a Bug type, you'll just avoid that completely. Moving on to Skeledirge now, where is what I'd go for, because I would worry about sword stances, I'd worry about iron defences or amnesias. You could go with the all-out special attack route, maybe a modest nature, because you don't need to worry about speed too much. So you've got a really powerful special attack, plus with Torch Song, put that in. Yeah, so a really powerful Torch Song increases your special attack. With +1, that'll be over 200, that's looking like a really powerful hit already. New max special attack, I'd opt for maybe max HP, because obviously it goes into 211 and that will survive a hit or 2. If you give it Will-O-Wisp, like I mentioned earlier, give it Will-O-Wisp, you don't need to worry about this defense. You have to worry about special defense, so you can either do max special attack and then chuck the rest in special defense, because then look, 120, 127 you'll be looking really good. You could go for a full out speed. So if we were to go for Timid, I believe it is, you could, if you really wanted to, go for max speed. 129 with that speed, quite a few things. For more bulky sets, if you wanted to not even worry about special attack, because you're thinking, okay, I've got a throat spray. Let's put a knife in actually, yeah. Put a throat spray. If they use special attack for a sound move, which the Torch Song is, that's +2 special attack already. Oh, I don't need to worry about special attack. You could just go for max bulk. So you could go for a max defense maybe. So max defense, max special defense, give it a bit of HP, and you'll be eating those hits constantly, especially if you use slack off. So put slack off in. You'll be healing up constantly, you'll be getting your health back. They won't be, and with Unaware, they won't be able to set up on you, you can be stuck. Terror, Fire would work really well with Torch Song, Ghost would work really well with Hex/Shadow Ball. And then for a surprise one, I would either suggest Grass to worry about the water attack, sort of rock attacks or ground attacks that will attack you. Or Fairy, because I did do Fairy for something, but I can't remember what it was. I think it was to get around to the starters actually, think about it, yeah. So with Terra Fairy, if you give it, let's say you're not worried about healing, you want to do consistent damage, and you give it Terra Blast. That's a 80 power plus boosted with Terra typing, Fairy attack. That would hit these two for 2 damage. That's why with Fairy. Impact Gravel, Water Fighting, again, Moxie is more consistent because obviously if you get that knockout, you already get +1 attack. Max attack's always nice. Max HP just so you can survive something. Again, you could give it a Life Orb. Life Orb would be good. And you could go for a defensive option. Say give it an Assault Vest and you'll just worry about pure attack only. You could just go for the max attack, max defense, not worry about its speed because obviously I'll percent point in. Just go Adamant. You've got almost 200 attack. Nice beefy 100 breakthrough defense. Assault Vest buffs this up to above 100. And you've just got a very strong hit in Impact Gravel. So the Terror rounds because ground gives you that nice immunity to electric, which it's weak to. If you're worried about grass type attackers, you could have Ice Spinner. Let's say we don't have Rapid Spinner because we've got Opposite. Yeah, you've got Ice Spinner, which is a very powerful Ice Beam. Worry about opposing grass types. Yeah, so once you've chosen one of these three, you've got to think, right, well, I've got to build my teams. The restrictions for this tournament will be just the newly introduced Pokemon that have been introduced into Scarlet Violet. So anything from Gen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 will not be allowed. It will literally just be these Pokemon that are introduced. The ones that are excluded, for reasons I'll go over at the moment, are the 4 Ruined Pokemon. The Ruined Pokemon being the 4 Dark types, these 4. Because they are the sub-legendaries, and in these TviTournaments we don't allow legendaries unless the tournament is specific to like a legendary tournament or some sort of tournament where one legendary is allowed, but we tend to save that for the VGC stuff, which we don't tend to touch in our tournaments. The future Pokemon and the past Pokemon, so the Paradox Pokemon and the Pokemon, obviously we're not allowing Arcridon and Miraidon because they're legendaries and these ones don't do with legendaries. So yeah, you pick one of these 3 and we've just gone over them kinda. Really strong physical attacker that can hit really quickly and can pivot with U-turn. The same with Gravel, really strong physical attacker with decent speed that can increase with either Rapid Spin or Opposite to get nice hits in. And the only special attacker, Skeledirge, if you want to hit more specially. The only thing is it's really slow if you want to run maybe a Trick Room or maybe if you want to lower the opponent speeds. Then you can do that, but it hits really hard on the special sides.